Welcome to the Mindscape, the AMF broadcast. For those of you who are new here, that simply stands for Always Moving Forward. I am Caprice the Fool. We are joined by
Tragic Visions.
I'm Joker G. What's going on, everybody? Let me start. I'm M Joker G. And this is another podcast. Escape. Always moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Always moving forward. I like that a lot. That's another logo that's gonna have to be written down. The more you write things down, the more positive you're gonna be. Take that from me. But yeah, this is just another podcast in recovery. Me and Tragic Vision from JTR Journey Recovery, and now we on Mindscape.
Mindscape. We'll cut that out.
That's because you said it earlier, Tragic. That's why I said it. Mindscape. Yo, well, you should Manscape, but make it easier for the women. This is the bloopers.
I don't know. I'm gonna keep it behind the scenes. Who's editing the video?
Yo. But I'm going to pass the Tragic Visions, and we're going to just pass the mic around, and then we're going to talk, This is our introduction, what we're doing with this, and, where we're going forward. We're moving forward. Always moving forward. So here you go, Tragic Visions.
Thanks, I'm Joker G. All right. Well, he already introduced me. I'm Tragic Visions. I go by that stage name mainly because it's a name I've been through a lot in my life, and we'll keep it kind of short because we'll go out through our own introductions and how we've pretty much got to where we are. But I've been through a lot in my life, and that's why I go by that moniker of Tragic Visions. So real quick, the name of this group or this podcast is Always Moving Forward, AMF, Mindscape. And basically what that means is, if we're not moving forward, then what are we doing in life? We are always moving forward in a positive direction, and that direction that we go in is built for the best that we can, that we know we can be. And so, with that, I'll pass it on because I lost my train of thought.
All right, what's up, everybody? As you guys know, I said in the beginning, I go by Caprice the Fool. For any of you who do not know much about Egyptian mythology, Caprice was the Egyptian god of rebirth. He was aka pretty much a dung beetle that was represented the rising of suns and the rise of dawn, dust, that type of stuff. And anybody who knows anything about tarot cards, the Fool is also a symbol of rebirth, naivete, stuff of that nature. And I've always been a person who always kind of learned to laugh at life, just kind of have a good time. So that's kind of a little bit of history behind that name. As TV was talking over here. Like Mindscape, always moving forward. You always want to progress, move yourself forward, not be stopped by failures, little stumbles, getting pushed down. You always just gotta find a way to get back up and keep pushing forward. Mindscape, at least to me, what I thought about, how I see it about it, is a lot of people like to escape into their own mind, like to plan, focus so much on perfection. They stop looking at the world around them, and they forget you have to do stuff in the real world. So Mindscape sounds like Mind Escape. It's kind of a little bit of play on words that I thought was always nice on that. But the three of us, we were just people who we met up, kind of just really meshed well together, and we wanted to get together, share our experiences with you guys. We all have different experiences, different ways of life, different understandings, and that's kind of the whole point of this whole podcast. I'll bring you back over to the M Joker of the G's.
that's a powerful statement. Just always moving forward. You got to move forward. You can't give up. Believe and never give up. We can talk about it all day. But we all in a motivated spot in our life where we're more balanced. And it took a lot of fight to get to where we're at. I know it did, because our stories, I've heard bits and pieces of our stories together, and now here we are to share them with you guys. Where do you want to start? We can start I'm going to start in a spot where recovery started happening to me, because there's no need to put my trauma on here right now. I don't like to share the pain, and people like me who should feel energy, you feel the pain as you speak your mind. And it's a gift and it's a curse, because sometimes it's hard to let go of other energy that's around you. But yeah, I'm stuttering, but this is day 3 for me. What am I talking about, day 3?
What happened on day 3?
Oh, day 3. I don't know, day 3. This is 3 for something. Yo. But if you haven't heard, we are also JTR, Journey Recovery. Now we always moving forward with Mindscape. And I love it, We're just all the average type people going through what we went through, and we're just gonna keep pushing forward and moving forward. My alarm clock's going off in the other room because I just bought it, and I don't know how to set it to the words.
I was like, what is that noise? You can barely hear it.
I don't think it's even picking up.
I hope not. Wake up! It's time to move forward.
That's what it is. You're always moving forward along.
Hey, you haven't taken a step yet.
But this is the first of many episodes. They will get better as we progress. And this ain't just about us 3. It's about every one of you out there too, who's on the same road as we are. And the concept is to help each other get out of where we at in our heads. And, Mindscape, that's tough in different ways. You can get trapped in the mind to the point where you just let go of life. I've done it plenty of times, lost in my mind. But, it's good to be in your mind sometimes, too. It's up and down. It's all in how you use your mindset. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to refocus in life. And treat every day as a blessing. Between my pain and Tragi's pain, goddamn... Yo, we have to edit that part out.
Oh yeah, edit that out. You'll do that eventually. You just say the fool for now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we shouldn't edit anything. We might just go raw with it and let it all out. It might catch me picking my face here and there. Like adjusting myself, my shirt. But yeah, I'm all over the place right now. So I'm gonna pass the mic, and we're just gonna keep talking. Let me ask Tragic a question. Tragic, what do you do on a gloomy, rainy day like today?
So I believe the question was, what do you do on a gloomy, rainy day? And, honestly, I keep it easy. I don't really do too much. I don't have a car at the moment, and so that kind of restricts me a lot of activities I can do outside. So I usually just stick to my music, editing music, doing the video, doing some sort of, technology-based activity. I've been doing music for a little over a couple of years now, and I have a lot of music that I like to put out there. So I need to, render them down and make sure they're good and they sound good for radio play. So on a day like today, I like to take the time and edit those pieces down, and also I like to journal. That's probably one of my biggest things that I do that has helped me and saved me from a lot of things is journaling and being able to get my thoughts out and put them onto paper and make them seem really realistic and visceral to the point where that thought is really getting out of me. And someone taught me how to properly journal, if that's a way to do that. I really took that to I don't know how to put it, but I just really took it in, and I've been able to journal about all my feelings and thoughts that come about, and so on a day like today, a rainy day, I like to do that. I like to listen to music, a lot of music, not even just my own, but instrumentals on YouTube, or coming up with a quick hook to make a song out of it, or something like that. So yeah, so gee, on a rainy day, that's what I like to do. But I just like to talk about myself. I got into music about 2.5 years ago, and I really took it to heart. And actually, Joker G over here, he's the one that really got me introduced into freestyling and music. And there's a whole story behind that, but I'll leave that for another day. But I basically started out with nothing, and I bought one microphone, and I learned how to edit music on a platform called Reaper, and I started making music with myself and Joker G, and we really we had a lot of fun with it, and I had a lot of fun with it, and that really has been my saving grace for the troubles that I've been through in my life. If I hadn't been able to do that kind of music, I don't know where I would be today, because it really did save me in a lot of different ways. And for that, I'd like to thank Joker G, because it just really, it really saved me. And it brought me to a different direction that I didn't know I could go in. And being a producer, being a beat maker now, and being an artist. I'm an artist on all sorts of different platforms, but music was never one of them. And you really brought out my talents inside of it, and so I really thank him for that, because I don't know where I would be without that introduction into music. And so yeah. And real quick, I just like to say that I have 3 years of sobriety, and always moving forward. I'm keeping that moving forward. I have a lot of great people around me to support that, and so with that, I'll pass it on. And I forgot your stage name already.
Yeah, no worries. It's a bit of a hard one to remember, like I said. But yeah, I gotta say, hanging out with these guys is always kind of fun. I've always had a good time with them. Always learning something new, even about myself and like my own type of struggles, and being able to see just different sort of perspectives. I've always been a person who I love different perspectives. I love seeing different ways of life. I like seeing how different people understand different things. That's always been something I've always found just a fun hobby for myself. I'm big into philosophy, big into psychology, so I love the way people's minds work. I also hate the way people's minds work, where there are plenty of things that I don't like. Well, let's be honest, I think everybody can say that. I've also realized like a lot of my struggles are usually more based around like acceptance because I'm very much an oddball when it comes to general understandings of like people where the way I see things is definitely not the way other people see things. I know same thing with Tragic and Joker G here. They both have different their own different types of struggles and they see the world in a completely different light than I ever could. Based on their experiences, based on my experiences, like I can empathize and kind of understand it, but I cannot fully comprehend it if that makes sense. But I've always been someone who seeing myself grow has always been a big motivator for me. Sorry, I'm a bit dyslexic, so I'm speaking hard. So it's writing and reading, but much like Travis was talking about a little bit, I also too do journal. I think journaling is just honestly a really good way to put your thoughts into motion, allows you to kind of understand what you're going through, and gives you a moment to kind of take a breather and like analyze like, okay, why am I thinking this way? What's causing me to think this way? Is this beneficial? Is this destructive? And how can you work to change it if it is destructive, or how can you work to improve it if it's something that you want to do more often? I know with me, even with journaling, there are times where I'm just I try to set it up consistently for a certain time, because I know if I'm not consistent, if I miss a day, I'm going to miss 2 days. If I miss 2 days, I'm going to miss 3 days, and it just tumbles that way. And then the exact opposite effect happens. If I hit a day, I'm going to hit another day. I can hit the other day, and just keep going. And I know I just can't. I'm someone who I just need to keep going and never stop. Oddly enough, always moving forward. Kind of funny.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, really. It works like that, man. Like a lot of things. There's actually, a famous psychologist. I believe he was a Swedish psychologist named Carl Jung, who talked about the term of synchronicity. Oh, yes, we're getting zoomed in because I'm Joker G's out of vision.
My bad.
But yeah, there's a thing called synchronicity where things just kind of align randomly. Like even when I was coming up with the name Capri's the Fool, I was actually going through an old personal rebirth kind of thing, a new type of understanding with myself, and like I said, I didn't really think much about it. Just kind of a name that popped in, and I love Egyptian mythology. Egyptian mythology is easily my favorite, by far. I think it's just the most fascinating, and there's so many ways to comprehend it, and different types of mindsets on how things are interpreted, stuff like that. I also do Nordic mythology, because that's also got another fun way to interpret it. I think pretty much just any religion or any pantheon of gods and stuff like that is always just fun to dissect, see different outlooks on how you can view it. Like I said, that's kind of my thing. Very much not about to go into details about that, because let's be honest, I could spend probably a good years just talking about that, because the amount of randomness I have I'm yeah, no, I'm gonna piss people off if I start going down that rabbit hole. I'll make Christians mad, I'll make Jews mad, I'd make Hindus, Muslims. I can piss off anybody by just being yes, this is how I interpret it, this is a new thing, this is a this that, and just go on about that. And yeah, I just think it's like I said, I think it's just fun to delve into those things. I've always been a person who I never like to just stick towards the course. Someone's oh, just do this and you'll be fine. Why? Well, because everybody else is doing it. Okay, well, if everybody else is doing it, doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way. It doesn't mean it's gonna work for me. I'm not everybody else.
Right.
And that's just the thing I've always looked at is, each person's different. Each person goes through their experiences. Yeah, you can have similarities, you can have this and that, but much like the word similarities, it doesn't mean they're the same. No, you can have, intersection points, but you're vastly different, because what you experienced before and what you experience after is not going to be the same. And then it's even nature versus nurture. Me and my brother are virtually pretty much the same. We were raised the same, in the same environment. And we're both adopted, we're both what I call half-breeds, aka black and white, and we grew up in the same white town. So we both, in a sense, started off with the same sort of blueprint. Vastly different people, extremely different. And growing up, we were always at odds. Like, we were like black and white, where, you know, he was the angel, I was kind of the devil, so to speak, at the time. And we were constantly fighting for each other, constantly getting into arguments, constantly just not getting along. And you would have thought, like, oh, you know, you guys are going through the same thing, you know, you guys have the same struggles. Wouldn't that make you guys have a stronger bond? No. Our personalities just did not go well together. Like, the way I viewed things was the exact opposite he viewed things. So it just didn't align. And yet, you know, I've noticed that even, like, in relationships that can happen. You can love somebody deeply, but understand that you guys are two different people and you just don't align. And, you know, physically or whatever, you know, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever it is, like, you guys just aren't, you aren't compatible. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can still love a person and still be like, yeah, we're just not good for each other. Especially if it's like a romantic relationship, you need to understand like what it is you need, what it is you want, and you know what makes you feel fulfilled in a relationship, and then so on and vice versa. And like I said, and I know I'll answer also. You know, I'm Joker G's little thing about that blue, gloomy days like today. I'm more thought provoked. I'm usually kind of less like external in my way of doing things. I'm more internal. I usually think a lot more. I'll, you know, try to understand what's going through my mind. Like, okay, what's been bothering me? Where can I improve myself? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? That's kind of where I look at it. It's my thinking space. It turns into a thinking space because I don't want to be outside. I don't like the rain. I hate the rain. I hate getting wet.
Right.
I get wet. I'm like, nah. Well, once I'm wet, okay, I'm good. But that's just where, you know, where mine is. So I'm going to hand it back to M. Joker G to answer that same very question. What do you do on a rainy day, my dude?
What do I do on a rainy day? Well, I'm doing kind of part of what I'm doing right now. You know, I stay focused on music and podcasts and my journey to recovery. You know, I'm like you. I don't really like to go outdoors in the rain. I don't like to be out early in the cold because it's painful. You know, I feel every ache and pain and all that, you know. But I'm getting through it, you know. You know, you learn to move forward. You know, you learn to deal with the pain. You know, you swallow that pain and you move forward. Always move forward. I'm just going to keep saying it, you know, because I like it a lot. Like, that's powerful. Always move forward. AMF, you know. But, yeah, I stay indoors and I focus on, you know, just I'm on the electronics. When it's sunny, I'm outside. You know what I'm saying? Getting that with the sun. But yeah, that covers that. But you know, now I want to say something now. I want to talk about a few years back. This is M. Joker G, by the way. Now, a lot of you might have already seen a lot of things I've done in the past few years because everything's been videotaped. I had my experience with my higher power at the age of 36. I say higher power because I don't want to upset other people. And that really changed my life to the point where I stopped hating, I stopped being mad, I stopped stressing. You get what I'm saying? Like, I was reborn when I was 36. And unfortunately, after that, being 36, when I was reborn, I experimented a lot of different things in life that I didn't believe was real or true, you know? And it got me in the situation where it put me in the system. And I want to talk about the system. You know, the system is there to help you if you use it right. You know what I'm saying? Take advantage of the help they can give you. I'm still in a system. I'm in a program. You know, I'm going to be honest with it, but it's the best thing for me right now. You know what I'm saying? It's keeping me clean. It's keeping me focused. It's keeping me to always move forward and to never give up and continue on my journey to recovery. We will talk about all that situation that put me into the hospital, because I was in the hospital for a few years. Hospital, mental hospital. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of was in and out all my life, from a young child to now. The reason I'm talking about this is because I was one to never believe in myself and understand the things of life. My phone just pinged. No disturb. I forgot to put it on. See, I lost track of mine because my phone pinged. I'm like a squirrel sometimes. Something distracts me, and I run the wrong way. I'm running towards the car, not towards the tree. Right. But let's go to another question. And that's a question I want to start off answering. And that question is, what would I tell my 20-year-old self? What would I tell my 20-year-old self? To bang up, believe and never give up. AMF, always move forward. And JTR, Journey to Recovery.
A lot of acronyms.
Yo, I got to keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in the point in my life I've never read a book, and I'm 41 years old. And I'm going to read a book. I promise. I'm just not ready yet. You know what I'm saying? And but let's go back to the 20-year-old self. I definitely would tell myself all that. And what else would I say? I would definitely hug myself. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Man, my 20s, man, I was a mess. Blackout drunk. A very angry person. And you wouldn't know that today because of how I am. I let go of that anger. I let go of that stress. I let go of that pain. I let go of the trauma. I let go. Move forward, AMF, move forward. But oh man, I'm just excited to be here today and to be on this podcast. We gotta stick together. We gotta hold hands. And we got to build together and help each other. We family, brother, sister, mother, aunt, cousin. You know what I'm saying? We got to help each other.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to pass the mic again. And I don't know if you want to answer that question, but what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
So my 20-year-old self, what would I tell him? I tell him it's going to be all right. I tell him it's going to be all right. Listen, and don't react to everything that you see. I think back in my 20s, I just had a very hard time. I had a very hard time listening. I always did things on my own dime, and I didn't really care about anybody else. And it was tough for me. I didn't have a lot of great opportunities in my life, and I believe I was born with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and I didn't know how to handle it, and it was tough. I'd say that much. I had a very hard time. I even have a hard time even talking about it, just because it's something that I still don't quite understand myself. I was diagnosed at 38 years old with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, and I've it's only been, 6 years, 6, 7 years, maybe 6 years, that I had to understand this diagnosis and really know what it is. And I have a hard time understanding it. I read a lot on it, and, so I can kind of move forward in my life apart from the medicines and the drugs that they give me. But, to tell my 20-year-old self, I tell him that, you worry too much and let things go. Not that you have to say you're sorry all the time, but don't hold on to grudges. Let things go. Because the more you hold on to these grudges, the more hurts and pain you're going to go through. And there's something about letting yourself breathe with saying I'm sorry, or saying, just letting it go in that aspect. I think there's something big and powerful in that, and it's that's a tough question, man.
I think you answered it very well.
I think that's a tough one, but I'll always move forward and pass it on.
All right, back to me. So, I'm a bit of the baby of the group. So, me being 20 is not much. It's like 9 years. You guys can do the math. But yeah, if I was to tell my 20-year self one thing, invest in GameStop. Plain and simple. I remember when that stuff happened. I saw it. I didn't do it. And in all seriousness, though, yes, that is a bit of a joke. But it is good advice to tell myself to have done that and then get out at 420. Get out at that time. But in all seriousness, I would 100% tell myself just trust your intuition. It knows what's best. Stop, letting your own type of, people-pleasing tendencies take over. Don't do that. It doesn't help you in the long run. It'll just slow you down, your progression down. And focus on being you and authentic as much as possible. Don't let things muddy the water. Don't feel bad because you're trying to be a good person. You don't have to being a good person. You're not gonna be a good person to everyone. You can't be a good person to everyone. It's not a thing. You can be a villain to people. It's not that big of a deal. It's just gonna happen. People are gonna love. People are gonna hate you, and it is what it is. Like I said, I even know looking back.
we don't want to see him stretching.
Yeah, it's making sure you go over there. But like I said, I always look at these types of questions. They're really thought-provoking and good, deep things of you go back and ask yourself, where were you 20 years? What's on your mind? What was on your mind? What were you thinking when you were 20? And how have you changed and matured since then? And like I said, I'm still pretty much very much similar to how I was. I just got rid of the fat. That's how I look at it. I just cut off a lot of the fat. Nowadays, I'm a lot more happier. There's still things, I struggle with. That's just life. You're going to struggle with everything, no matter where you are. One of my friends, he talks about, he's new levels, new devils. That's what he likes to say. And it's true. When you level up, you're gonna have different problems. And if you didn't solve the problems before and you just kind of steamrolled yourself to the next level, you're gonna have an even harder time when you reach there. So it's figure out what you need to, solve when you're there, get through it, and then hit the next level. Don't just, I'm just gonna power through every single level, and then you turn around, next thing you know, you got all these things that are just dragging behind you, weighing you down. That's how I also view, trauma is take it one step at a time, sort it out, take your time. It's not a race, it's a marathon, so you got time to sort it out. Take that time. I know a lot of, with me, my struggles are, I was a huge pessimist. I could easily turn any situation and just kind of be well, it's a shitty situation. And I could have done that with anything. And that's how I looked at, how I grew up. And then I started to look at it as, I feel blessed to have experienced this purely because it made me who I am now. that was where the mindset changed. And that changed, I honestly, a lot of my stuff, my mindset changed around, I want to say when I was 19, actually, is kind of where a lot of my mindset changed. So I'm still kind of pretty fresh in that, that space myself. And even then, I'm like, I wish I did faster, sure, but at least it's not taking me 20 years. It's only taking me maybe 10, not even. But hey, it could have taken longer. I could have sat here my whole life. Like, I know there's plenty of people who, they lived all the way till their early years, and they still sit there like, I regret this one decision I made like 70 years ago. And I'm like, I don't want to be that type of person. Like, no, I want to live my life where I can look back and be like, yeah, I made some mistakes, I made stumbles. I got back up and just went right back at it. Could have been worse. And that's just how I look at it. So I guess I'll start the next question off. What do I want the next question to be? We'll make one that's kind of good. What would you say was the biggest lesson you've learned this year so far? I'll lead off myself. The biggest lesson I learned this year was that, being I'm an empath, but I realized my empath does not work like normal empath. I don't absorb energy, I reflect it. So I'm more of a mirror. So it's been, I've always struggled with, like, I can feel people's emotions, but I've never felt like, I've always been confused, like, why am I, like, I'm an empath, but why am I not, like, embodying it? It's just kind of, like, there. So I try to force myself to absorb it when that's just not how I work. And it would just cause me to, do what my compulsion is, which is to reflect, where it's like, somebody's doing something, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, let me coddle you. It's like, no, I'm going to reflect it back at you, be like, okay, let's solve the problem. That's how I always viewed it. It's like, okay, you have an issue, yeah, it's tough. Okay, let's sit down and figure out how to solve it. Or, I'd make a joke or make light of it. And a lot of people do not like that because you're forcing them to face what they're running from. And a lot of people are not ready to face it. They just aren't. So it's caused me, to be, put myself in a lot of, like, lonely spots, feeling alone, feeling like, it's just me. And I've gotten used to that. Like, I grew up, like, used to it, but for a long time, it was something that I never understood why. Like, why am I, why do I always have to be alone? Why does it always feel like, this or that? And that's just something I learned, like, not too long ago. I want to say I learned this maybe, like, a couple months ago, like, pretty much at the beginning of the year. And that's just something that I just, I ran into. Like, I wasn't, at the time, even searching for it. It just popped up, and I saw it, and I was like, wow, this actually makes so much sense now, where it's like, there are different types of, way to have, be an empath. And the main reason, like, too, where it really, hit me hard was, like, even when I joke with my friends, and, like, I always mess with them, and, like, I told them, like, yeah, I'm an empath. They're like, no, you're not. Like, you're kind of an asshole. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, I'm not going to say I'm not. Like, I'm a dick. Like, plain and simple. But, like, a thing I realized, even with my last relationship, she would always say, like, oh, I lack empathy. And it's like, she's like, you say you're an empath, but you lack empathy. And it's like, no, the way I process empathy is just different than what people understand it to be. Like, there's different forms of the same thing. And, yeah. So I'm going to pass this back to the MJ. Actually, no, we'll try to do business so I don't have to reach over. We'll have him answer the question.
So, the biggest lesson I learned this year? That's a tough one. Because we only had 3 months.
Yeah, that's the kind of point. I'm like, pretty much what you want in 3 months.
I learned that, well, I guess letting things go is a huge sense of relief for me. What I mean by is that not holding grudges anymore, not holding on to those long time grudges against people for my own sake. I think that. That's a tough one too. That's the point. Yeah, no. I mean, it's just to talk about letting things go is just tough in itself. I learned a big lesson this year through that. It was back in January, and it was letting go of resentment that I had towards a family member, and letting that go just really it allowed me to open up into a bigger space, and I really didn't want to. I was angry with this person for so long. I mean, I'm talking about for almost 20 something years, and
Clumsy over there.
You didn't see anything.
I didn't see nothing. Damn impasse.
He did it with his mind.
He's always moving forward, I guess. Where was I saying?
You were talking about
The grudges. Yeah, the grudges. I held this grudge against a family member for over 20 years, and I finally said, enough is enough, and I said, I went to them and I said, I get where you're coming from, and I understand where this grudge held from, and I basically told them that I'm sorry for having this grudge, and I didn't want to hold it against them any longer, and the result of that was it was a big result, and it basically, long story short, it basically freed up an emotion that I had inside of me, and it freed up that emotion so much to the point where I was able to breathe just a little bit easier, and I didn't hold on to that grudge for that long, and it just basically freed up my mind a lot more. And so, I learned that holding these kind of grudges going forward does nothing but anger you inside. And that's all, I gotta say about that.
Yeah, he already threatened me. I'm telling the world.
The camera didn't pick that one, I guarantee you that.
Damn.
So you're on your own.
So what was the question? What changed this year?
What did you learn this year?
What's the biggest thing you've learned this year? AKA the last 3 months.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Son, I've struggled all my life. Boundaries. And I still struggle, but I've learned to start having boundaries. Like, I'm trying, but it's hard because I'm a people person giver. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I give a lot, and even my therapist says you're draining your cup and you're not helping yourself, and that's something we should all work on, boundaries. You gotta find yourself, you gotta love yourself, you gotta, before you love anything, you have to love yourself. And I learned that, take it from someone who has been in 3 long-term relationships to being a single man now for about 4 years now. But in that 4 years, I was able to find myself. You get what I'm saying? To being single and being celibate. It gave me a lot of willpower. It gave me respect. It gave me everything I got right now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if that had anything to do with boundaries.
Well, it did. I know you're wrong.
You know where I was going with that? Okay. It's like, I gotta say it, and how do you gonna love yourself is by taking time for yourself, doing things for yourself, always moving forward for yourself. Wake up, learn new things, put some structure in your life. That's basically one thing I've learned this year, and I'm still gonna be learning it. But that was big because I've started, and that's a step forward. You know what I'm saying? Every step is a forward step if that's what you want it to be. You know? If you fall, crawl, then stand up. You know? I had to do a lot of crawling. A lot of crawling, bro. Like, and now, if I had to crawl now, I don't know. I might just not get up. I might lay there like a beach whale. I could roll around, roll myself up. You know, I'll be doing those back kick-ups, jumps, and jumping up. Imagine that, do the worm. Nah, but this is one of many episodes we're gonna be doing, and it's gonna get better. Like I said, we're gonna be in different locations. We're gonna be indoors, outdoors, all around the 413. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing what we're doing, and always move forward. And for real, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm gonna pass the mic, and I have to take a step out because I have to deal with something for a minute downstairs. So I'm gonna pass the mic after I ask one more question because I like this question game. How do you cope with anger? What are the 3 things that you should do, or what you do? Because everyone does different stuff. My first thing will be breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Then I would do the feel every part of your body, wiggle your toes, wiggle your shoulders, ground yourself. You get what I'm saying? And then what was the third one? Well, in my case, take a nap.
I like that one. I'm all about the third one.
Yeah. So I'm going to pass this on, and I'll be right back, guys.
And what was the question? What did you do with anger? How do I deal with anger? All right. I think the first thing is what M. Joker G said, and all right. And then there was 2. Wow, this thing is really. So I got a new MacBook Pro, the M5 series, and I'm just amazed at how good this thing is. It's super fast. It was definitely out of my budget, but I saved up a lot of money for it, and I wanted to get something good for myself and treat myself good. So maybe that could be number 1. Treat yourself something good if you're dealing with anger. The second one would be you gotta breathe. Take a step back, take a moment, take that 5 seconds, take 5 minutes, take 5 hours, but breathe. Do something for yourself and breathe. And the third is, I believe in music. I believe in therapeutic music. I believe in instrumentals. Something without lyrics. Something that's not gonna, influence your structure of how your mood will go. Putting on Limp Bizkit and Slipknot is probably not the best thing in the world when you want to get rid of your anger. So I would say, music, therapeutic, instrumental. You can still listen to music that has a little bit of edge to it, but nothing that has the lyrics, because I think that influences the way you're going to think and your judgment as well. So if you're angry, you definitely got to take a step back, breathe, listen to something that'll calm you down. And really think about why you're angry. Think about that why the reason why you're angry. And if it's something that you can journal about, journal it, and put it on paper. Make that thing really real. And so
I feel like my way of dealing with like anger is actually kind of way different than you guys. That's for sure. Mine is I go silent, and in that silence, I usually am going through. Okay, what are the two things here I need to do? Is one, figure out why am I mad, and two, why did what they say make me mad, and did they have a point? Now, if I feel like they had no point, then it's like, okay, I'm mad because somebody's, they just said something that I felt was stupid. The other, they do have a point. Usually I'm mad at myself because I was either, negligent in something, I wasn't paying attention, or I just felt like, hey, I made a mistake and I feel stupid doing it. And then for me, usually what I like to do is, I'm a weirdo. I always joke where I'm like, I'm just a big, surprisingly, the whole moniker of the fool is I can be just a giant clown. Where I'm like, I don't really cry, I laugh. I don't really get mad, I smile. Like, that's just kind of how I am, where a lot of my emotions just kind of are laughing and smiling, just kind of being like, yeah, whatever, just throw it away, it's not worth my time, it's too much effort to really be all mad at somebody for a long period of time. Doesn't mean I don't think about it, I don't analyze it. I always analyze it. I always make sure I try to understand what it was and what needs to change. Sometimes, like I've realized, like especially like in relationships, if it's like it's just a relationship itself where the person just doesn't work well with you, and you have to accept that. It's like, okay, you can cut people off. You can be like, hey, this, I need to move on. It doesn't mean you hate the person. It's just like, no, they just do things that you just don't agree with. Nothing wrong with that. And like those to me, those are like the three ways I do it. I go silent. I analyze what it was. Is it something that's, is internal or is it something that's external? And then I just kind of laugh it off and move on with my day. Because if you're just holding on to all that weight, I think it's just going to weigh you down. It's going to, carry, you're going to kind of start to ruin your day from it. It's seriously not worth it. But I'm going to get the mic back to TV over here so he can ask his question, because he hasn't asked the question yet.
My question would be, when are we going to end this thing?
That's a good question.
Up to you.
So we are going on 53 minutes. We're going on an hour. So what we'll do is
we'll do our outro right now.
We'll do a quick outro, and we didn't plan for an outro. So
we didn't plan for having this. We just went wrong.
Yeah. So basically, it will be edited down, but I'll just say this. I appreciate you guys so much for being here, being on this podcast, and doing something different outside of our normal realm of things, right? And really, being together. I think that's just a good thing for us. I don't want to get all sentimental and everything like that, but it's a good thing, So I say I want to appreciate all you guys, and with that, I'll just leave it with. Hey, you guys have anything else you want to say?
Just go with peace, love, and happiness. That's all I can say. I say it all the time,
Peace, love, and happiness.
That's what I want, so I'm going to stick myself around it.
I say that's honestly the best way we could always end it, is just gratitude. I think that's the best way we could end it, is with gratitude. So, yeah, I agree with you, man.
I like that. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.